Father. OK, on va partir de la réunion. Donc, bienvenue à la séance ordinaire numéro 6 du 18 juin 2025. So, welcome to this regular meeting number 6 of June 18, 2025, the Borough Council here. So, opening of the minutes and adoption of the agenda. The agenda, there's one change. The 6-1 is postponed. Donc, ouverture de la séance, adoption de l'ordre du jour. L'ordre du jour, il y a une modification dans le point 6.2.1 est reporté. Donc, on passe aux autres points. On passe au Conseil d'arrondissement, la lecture et l'adoption du procès verbal du numéro 5 du 27 mai. So, adoption and reading of the minutes of number 5 meeting of 27th of May. So, that's been accepted as is, no modification. So, we're up to point number 4. Donc, point numéro 4 qui est public question period. Donc, question du public. Donc, vous levez votre main, bien vous levez, vous présentez. On a une c'est enregistré, donc on demande que vous nommez votre nom, puis de quel but vous êtes, puis posez vos questions. So, I'll start off. Yes.
I'd like to, I'm here tonight, I'd like to introduce one of our new members for the, member, yes?
Can you state your name?
Oh,
your
David
organization or
David Wright?
Yes. For the recording, you know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. President of the St. Francis Valley Naturals Club and some other things. And I'd like to introduce Hannah Carey tonight. She's going to be a big involvement with our pollinator garden, and she's just got a new position here in Quebec for invasive plants. So here she is.
Bonjour.
What's your second name again? Hannah?
It's Hannah Carey.
Carey.
Yeah. So I work with Invasives Canada, especially South Canada. I can do this in English or French.
Yes, so this is my school, so yes.
Your options. Keep up it. So Invasives Canada has initiated a program that they received federal funding for called the Youth Eco Stewards. So this is available for youth between the ages of 12 and 30, and it is to increase engagement in the environmental sphere in their communities. So we have this funding for 2 years. The program will have probably 2 cohorts, and in this first year that the program has been initiated, I'll be working as the Quebec coordinator. This is a program happening across Canada. And so I'll be organizing events in various communities, having different partnerships across the province. And one of the events, as David mentioned, is going to be for Pollinators Day. So we had a couple ideas, but at this point, we're looking at trying to help with Japanese knotweed around uplands. And I'm also partnering with Sierra Club Canada with their Let's Plant program. So I have a bunch of seeds that are native to Quebec that I would like to be planting in various open spaces that are accessible on people's private property. I can give them seeds, but we're hoping on Pollinators Day to, with any youth or community members who are involved, to plant seeds with them, send them home with seeds. And I would love to also find places in town to plant some of these wildflowers.
Nice. Well, it sounds interesting. So your request is to find us to help you find locations that are municipally owned?
Yes, I think that would be great for the wild flower component. I think there are a lot of other ideas here and collaborations. I would love to even get a better idea of some of the invasive species that we have in the area or in town. Some of that is just going to be through education. And through this program, I'm hoping to have participants will be able to have their own project that they can guide and lead, and I'll be supporting them. And some of the projects I would love to focus on protecting our waters, and that can be connected to aquatic invasive species. There's a lot of opportunity for better understanding insects in the community as well, with a mold ash borer and that kind of thing. So I'd love to know how we can work together as well, apart from just finding plots of land for the wildflowers. But I think there's like a lot of opportunity here, and I'd love to get more youth in the community involved as well.
Okay, so what kind of time frame are you like dedicated for this for a certain time, or what's your time frame for your actual job? Because I know there's a summer after that start to work outside, but
So this, my position is for the full time that we have the grant, which currently is for 2 years.
okay,
So I'll be the Quebec coordinator for 2 years in the province. This program will also involve creating a network across Canada. I'll be additionally trying to work with partners at the provincial level in other regions and municipalities across Quebec as well. But my timeline right now, I'm looking to just broaden who we're reaching. Promoting the program itself, offering it to people, and we'll be accepting participants for an ongoing basis. Our launch really officially is going to be in a couple weeks at the beginning of July. And we'll be accepting, like I said, applicants on an ongoing basis. And events in the community and also participant-led projects will be ongoing. They'll be happening throughout the year, and there's sort of no limit right now on applicants or projects. And you can think of this as like a program where they can get service hours. So the idea is to complete the program. They do 120 hours with us with the program. That involves working on their project or even attending webinars that we'll be organizing, having different educational events and trainings, and then they will be getting a certificate at the end. So this is trying to help people in this field, in the environment, get hired as well at the end of the program.
so what I'm hearing is there's no limits to who can apply for this grant. A normal citizen could apply, or organizations can apply, and municipalities can apply.
So it has to be, the criteria are that it has to be a youth individual between the ages of 12 and 30. But their projects can reach people outside of that age range and that age group, so they can be community focused events. The other criteria in line with this grant from the government is that they must be either a Canadian citizen or have refugee status. But apart from hard criteria, those are the three things.
Okay. Okay. So my first impression is that we have the Environment Committee, commission in Sherbrooke, and we have an Environment Department. And my second intuition is that bishops have the environmental committee too. I mean, there's a lot of groups, like we have right beside you, there's somebody representing an environmental group too.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at all of this, and then my first impression is communications. You need to communicate this information. So that's one thing we probably can assist you in, because our leisure department normally is responsible for the different organizations in Sherbrooke and Lennoxville in particular. And they could maybe link you, is that if that would help you. Otherwise, personally, and I know we have a lot of information we can share with you, but it depends what approach you want to take there. But there's the official route and then an unofficial route, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I think connecting me with other groups would definitely be useful. And then from there, I can see what kind of, either just like telling them about the program or finding ways to partner with them. I have already reached out to a few groups. I attended Bishop's University, so I reached out to past professors there.
Yep.
And I also connections there as well that I've reached out to. So I've started to network and figure out who the big players are in town, but if you could connect me more directly to some people who you know there's already interest, that would be really great.
Okay. Well, if I had a task to give to our administration, would be to connect you with our environmental players in city-wise.
Perfect.
So is that appropriate for you?
Yes, that would be
Yes.
great.
Okay. So that's
She will be involved with our meeting we'll have with the entrepreneur, Anita, with entrepreneur, entrepreneurship. So our first meeting with Pauline in the garden, July 6th, I think, 4th. Good, that's my secretary, yeah, July 4th. So Hannah's gonna be with us, and we're gonna coordinate for that, the pollinator day that we have here at the square. That's the beginning, and at Bishop's too, we're starting to get her involved with Jane Morrison.
You can use the bishops as the students are gone at this still.
Well, the garden they just mentioned, Chris just mentioned, the educational garden, they're all year. And so I talked to Jane Morrison, yeah, so we're gonna connect this up. But yes, we need your connection though.
And just for technical communications, do you prefer communicating in English or in French?
I can do either. It really. Either.
Des questions, c'est
Good one.
c'est clair.
And when's the pollinator day today?
We haven't determined it.
July 26th.
Oh, do I? That's why I have my back pocket.
Not one like that too, there.
Oh, yeah.
Oui, mais je peux le dire en français. Oui, c'est Madame Carey qui est responsable qui est coordonnatrice, on pourrait dire, pour Invasive Canada, qui est pour les, comment est-ce qu'on dit ça, des plantes. Voilà, merci. Donc, elle fait une demande pour qu'on communique avec nos services de la ville, puis avec n'importe qui, en fait, pour un projet de collection pour les mauvaises herbes, on pourrait dire.
Puis ce n'est pas juste des plantes.
Non.
Non, c'est plusieurs espèces aussi. Il y a
Ok.
plusieurs espèces aquatiques. Les moules débris.
Japanese.
Non, oui.
Ouais.
La lune du Japon.
Oui. Lots of insects as well, so it's a large group. Yeah.
Merci. Puis il y a quelqu'un qui va rentrer en contact avec vous. Si vous avez laissé vos coordonnées, vous laissez vos coordonnées. Puis, OK.
Hannah, did you want to mention the other question that you asked me? And I said about the horticultural department in Sherbrooke, I said that you can mention it here and you
Oh.
about the choice of plants,
Of planting
the plants that they plant in the flower beds and that in Sherbrooke.
yes, about whether they're native species or not.
Yeah.
Well, I think I would also love to be in contact with any department that is providing landscaping flowers around the area. I think it's important to know if they're native or invasive.
Yes.
And I think we can do a lot of work to educate through public spaces as well and through that kind of public landscaping.
So does that mean you have identified plants that are using that are invasive?
No, but I'm saying it's worth looking into, especially because the province hasn't done a lot yet towards restricting invasive species, especially selling them and sort of moving them around and how we share them. So I think it's good to look into to get ahead of any problems or to minimize any impacts that may have already started.
So in this case, you would offer your services to the city to be able to identify and
It wouldn't be my services specifically, but it would be, I think more so a point of contact. I can be in touch with a lot of specialists who are more knowledgeable than myself. So it would be more so that kind of thing, and that potentially this could also be a youth-led project, even if there are interns working for the city that maybe also want to have an educational component to what they're doing, if they're really interested in in that kind of work. So I think there's some things that could be happening at the same time.
Des questions sévères à propos de ce sujet-là? Okay, c'est bien pris en note. The second thing maybe I should mention is we're sort of lucky here at the borough office. We have Nature Cantonales, which is an environmental organization, and they contract for the city. So that's another link that's really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bon, OK, on va passer aux deuxième question. Yeah, monsieur. Yes.
Yes, good afternoon. Nelson Gagne, a resident of Lennoxville. And I have a couple of questions, but I wanted to start with congratulations on a fantastic Friendship Day.
Yes.
That was amazing. And I just parked over there and walked by the fireman's monument, and it's the first chance I had to. Oh, wow, what a fantastic job.
Quite a few years behind that project.
Yes, I know, because I was there for the history and the long road.
We could make a documentary out of that road.
Yeah. Anyway, it's absolutely gorgeous. The questions that I have, well, one might be related to Ms. Carey's pollinator. My question is, I noticed No Mo May was, okay, No Mo May, I would imagine you're in favor of that.
Oh, yeah, I'm really, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll be honest, I can't stand dandelions. I know they're pollinators, but I did a little research on it, and there are some questions about whether No Mo May is good for residential lawns. It can produce you talked about invasive species of weeds, and we have enough as it is. My question is, okay, No Mo May for some. Has the borough of Lennoxville adopted a No Mo June? Because I noticed that just before Friendship Day, down here, I'd come in and asked about it, and that well into June, the lawns hadn't been mowed here. And across the street from where I live, the monument
Yes.
was unsightly. The municipality goes to the trouble of having workers go there and plant beautiful flowers and shrubs, and those are well maintained, but there was one point where you couldn't see them for the grass. And again, that was well into June. Are we looking at a No Mo May plus June and further situation?
Well, that's a great question. Because what I can tell you is that's a new policy, it becomes political, let's put it this way. We have a political environment today that pushes for environmental issues. And yes, it goes as far as, and of course, the way I see it is that if you don't complain about it, it will stay that way. So I recommend we have a service a service line at the city is 821-5858.
Okay.
You should phone that in, because if it doesn't disturb, you leave it. Okay, so
well, I would imagine that there are a few people who would be willing to come forward.
Yes, absolutely, and that's what I recommend. Yes.
Yeah, it's just that for me, that monument that welcomes people into the borough of Lennoxville is right across the street. And one of the great joys that I have is when we're doing dishes at the sink, looking at that beautiful monument and all of those plants. Couldn't see them for the grass and the weeds.
That was Mr. Bill Smith's project.
Okay. Well, I went across, as I said in my article, I went across the street and asked one of the workers that I can do it. Said, oh no.
That's directive from the city. So if he gets the directive to cut the grass, he'll do it.
Okay.
You need to have it moved. It's the same thing as as like priorities are security. So quite often, you know, somebody will call, we can't see when you come out. I mean, they'll do that right away, you know. But but secondary is if you complain about the actual views and the permit, it sort of defeats the purpose of the monument.
Well, yeah, and it's not because it's across the street from my house.
And
It's just this beautiful monument
yes,
with a plaque that welcomes people into the borough of Lennoxville. And when you come in, it kind of looks like, well, the borough of Lennoxville doesn't really take care of it.
But it's the same thing as our fire station on up College area. I did ask when are they coming up, because I do get questions from citizens.
Right.
When are you cutting the grass there? So
Yeah.
that's information I asked for, so I'm waiting for that answers. But it's in order to influence that really, so that we do get out of May and cut in June. Yes.
May is June, I don't know.
Especially in front. I mean, it's like.
Yeah, if people want to let their lawns go, I have somebody out at the lake who hasn't mowed her lawn in 35 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's her thing. That's what she wants. Good. Somebody asked me if it was an abandoned house. That's
Because the regulations still exist. They maintaining your grounds is a requirement.
Apparently not in
But
the
if you don't put a
compound.
complaint in, it's not looked at. That's what I mean. It has to be declared as a disturbance and they'll look into it.
Well, disturbance, like I said, to each his own.
Well, you don't judge that, and then you put the complaint in and it'll be evaluated, let's put it that way, and then.
Understood. Thank you. The other question that I had was on Friendship Day, we walked around a lot and we saw a lot of pink flyers stapled to telephone.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm wondering, what was that all about? And is anything?
Let's see what I can tell you here.
We don't.
Because internally we took care of it.
Okay.
But it was, that's exactly the same thing too. You can call 821-5858, or you can do it online too. It's a 5858 online. You can fill it in the form and stuff like that. But that's, let's put it this way, it's a mental health issue.
Okay.
But it's being dealt with, so.
Well, I kind of thought that reading, trying to decipher what was going on. You don't need anybody from the town to do it. My daughter walked all over Lennoxville and took them all.
Yeah.
You know, so, okay, so it's being dealt with.
And there is a bylaw about putting posters on posts too, so that's not illegal. So.
I just noticed a Free Palestine one on.
Yes,
so
those are hard to take out.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome, thank you.
Can I just say something about the mowing? I don't know if this applies to down there, but we had such a rainy May that some work was delayed. I don't know if that was the case down there, but just.
Well, it was interesting that I don't think it had anything to do with it, but was it a case of the squeaky wheel getting the grease? Because the Saturday morning after, when I sent the article off, as I do on Thursday mornings at around 11 o'clock, it had yet to be mowed. Yet I came into town on Saturday morning early, done. So, it's just, I understand rain and all of that. It was a wet May and all of that, but we're into June. May is May. We're into June. I'd just like to know if we're going to be having a no-mow June, July, August, September, this kind of situation coming at us long term. I appreciate environmentalists, and I'm very interested in talking about aquatic nymphalae, as they say in French, and the zebra mussels are a big concern of mine. So would be interested in finding out about that. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Okay, so I'll transfer for people who are listening, because this is recorded. So, donc, Monsieur Gagné, gagneur, je devrais dire, on s'est connu. Il nous félicite pour le monument qu'on a érigé pour les pompiers volontaires. Ça a été bien apprécié. Puis, L'autre sujet, c'était la tonte des gazons qui est supposé durer en mai, mais c'est pas un règlement, ça c'est juste donc, une coopération, on pourrait dire, entre le citoyen et la ville, puis tout ça. Donc il questionnait le fait qu'on est rendu au mois de juin, puis qu'il y a des arbres qui ne sont pas coupés encore à certains endroits, des arbres municipaux. Puis, ce que j'ai signalé à M. Gagner, c'est que le 821-5858, c'est toujours une bonne façon de communiquer avec la ville pour passer le message pour certains. Puis, j'encourage en fait tout le monde qui a des questions ou des requêtes à faire à la ville d'utiliser ce numéro-là parce qu'on a investi beaucoup dans ce service-là, donc il devrait être fonctionnel. Donc, on encourage les gens à... Parce que, tu sais, on passe au travers un conseiller, puis là, nous autres, on a une salle d'administration, ça marche, mais ça ne laisse pas nécessairement un numéro de requête. Fait que l'avantage avec l'utiliser le 821-5858, c'est que ça laisse un numéro de requête, tu peux rappeler, puis demander un suivi sur la requête. Puis, sinon, aussi, vous pouvez venir nous voir nous autres, si ça ne fonctionne pas, là, c'est parfait. Mais la première réflexe, c'est de...
Bienvenue ici.
Yep.
Merci.
Oui, puis on a fait une requête dans le fond. Oui, c'est ça. Puis ça, je suis certain que lui, sa job, c'est ça. Il vous aide à faire une requête aussi si c'est le cas.
OK. Merci.
Ouais, je voulais juste rajouter un point sur la question de la tonte. Effectivement, au mois de mai, les premières tontes sont repoussées, mais ce que nos collègues de la division des parcs mentionnaient, bon, il y a eu de la pluie. Effectivement, ça a retardé le début de la tonte, mais ça leur prend 2 à 3 semaines pour faire le tour de tous les espaces qu'ils entretiennent. Ils nous disaient, je pense, de mémoire, qu'ils en avaient 125. 126, on peut regarder le chiffre exact. Il y a 126 espaces à tondre, donc ça leur prend 3 semaines pour faire le tour. Mais normalement, une fois que la saison de tonte est lancée, ils passent aux 2-3 semaines et ils entretiennent. Effectivement.
Vous êtes fini, vous êtes obligé de recommencer.
Eh bien, de recommencer, oui, c'est ça. Il y a des équipes qui tournent en permanence, mais c'est ça prend 3 semaines habituellement pour, si un premier espace est tondu, maximum 3 semaines après, ils repassent, à moins qu'il y ait effectivement de la pluie là, qui vient compliquer les opérations. Mais effectivement, comme le mois de mai, bon, il n'y a pas de tonte, et en plus que ça a été très pluvieux, ils ont pris du retard dans leur en tout cas, échéancier de tonte.
So what our director just specified is the fact that our workers are on the job, but there's of course delays because of rain, as Ms. Griffin mentioned, but also that there's 126 lawns to be cut, and it takes about 3 weeks to go around. So that's another delay that can be added to the question there. Merci. D'autres questions?
All good. I'm always looking for something to do.
We could subcontract, is that
Subcontract.
OK. So, on a fait le tour, il n'y a pas d'autres questions. Donc, on va continuer avec notre agenda. Donc, on est rentré au 6.1 qui est la demande d'approbation de PIA. So, 611 is a PIA request for the 170, 172 Queen Street. And remember right on that. Okay, that's a sign request, and it's actually it's been refused. So it went to the CCU and came back to us, and it was a refusal. So they have to go back to the owner and redo their work. Donc le 611, c'est une demande d'IA, puis c'est une demande pour une enseigne qui a été refusée par le CCU. La comité consultative urbaniste. Puis donc ici, ce qu'on fait nous autres, c'est qu'on accepte le refus. Puis ça retourne au demandeur. Le 621 est annulé. Donc, on serait rendu au 711, qui est l'abrogation de la résolution pour un défaut de suivi d'intervention du Conseil d'arrondissement. So that's just a formality. Il y a un tableau des suivis des interventions. So there's an intervention that we get, and it's the actual list and the follow-ups on it. So there's just a deposit of that. Et aussi, on a un dépôt des étapes, excusez, un compte de ligne. Du 29 avril, celui-là, c'est ça. Puis l'autre, c'est du 27 mai. Donc, les deux, c'est identique. Donc là, on s'est rendu au point numéro 11, qui est un message du membre du Conseil. So we're up to point 11, which is messages from the Borough Council members.
Thank you very much.
Monsieur Lira-Jeunesse.
Merci beaucoup. So another edition of Congratulations in the South. So first, congrats to Matteo Brings, Champlain student who brought home the bronze medal in the senior category at the Canada-wide Science Fair for his project's Flex. Again, it's proving that the talent of our student body is strong this year. So congrats again. Also, congrats to everyone who was involved with Friendship Day, especially to our leisure technician, Mr. Dan Johnson, who took on the project on his shoulder and really brought it home. So thank you very much to him. Also, I was lucky enough to participate in an online conference recently that was directed to Alex on Lyme disease and the raccoon rabies. It was given by the CUSSP SHU. So some recommendations for municipalities. As we know, ticks are like small empires, they don't like the sun. So therefore, the recommendation resides in creating trails with buffer zones that are less favorable to ticks, which is to mow a little bit of space around our infrastructure so the ticks don't have a space to go and lay their eggs there. And also ensuring that parks play area for kids are away from wooded areas. Also putting up prominent information signs on tick and measures to follow if a bite happens on the trail. For rabies, mostly the recommendation for municipality was low-cost vaccination campaigns for pets in key areas. We don't really have rabies cases in the area right now, mostly from bats, but it's especially rare. But from raccoon, in certain areas in the Eastern Township, it's getting a little bit more frequent, so we should be, careful about that. I wanted to mention with great sadness, the fire that happened on the building on Masawipi. We have a couple of families there who don't have a home right now, so they will need our support. So there you go. Last, on a more positive note, I'd like to invite everyone to the Eastern Township Tea Festival at Uplands this weekend. It's a good sense if you haven't yet, or if you want to go back again, it's always a good thing to do, to taste our famous English tea there with our tradition that is years and years and years old at Uplands. And also if there are different sites also in the Eastern Townships that are involved in that event. So more info on the Uplands website. That's all for me. Ah oui, c'est vrai. Sometimes I forget. OK, une autre édition de Félicitations dans le Sud. Alors, félicitations à Mathéo Jarquin, étudiant de Champlain, qui a remporté la médaille de bronze dans la catégorie senior de l'Expo Science pan-canadienne pour son projet Flex. Félicitations encore, ça démontre encore une fois que le talent de nos étudiants est de plus en plus large et qu'on a eu vraiment une année vraiment fantastique. En tout cas, félicitations encore. Félicitations aussi à tous ceux qui étaient impliqués dans la journée de l'amitié, en particulier à M. David Allison, notre technicien en loisirs, qui a vraiment pris ce projet-là sur ses épaules et qui l'a amené à bon port. Donc, merci beaucoup pour son temps, son énergie, sa dédication. Félicitations. Aussi, j'ai eu la chance de participer à une conférence en ligne qui était adressée aux élus. Donc, c'était sur la maladie de Lyme et la rage du raton laveur. C'était donné par le CIUS-CHU. Donc, quelques recommandations pour les municipalités concernant les tiques. Alors, les tiques, c'est un peu comme des petits vampires. Ils détestent le soleil parce qu'elles peuvent sécher. Il faut donc aménager dans nos sentiers des zones dégagées, tampons, qui ne sont pas favorables aux tiques. Donc, ça veut dire couper l'herbe autour des sentiers, mais aussi autour de certains endroits au niveau de notre paysagement où les gens pourraient passer d'une façon régulière. Aussi faire attention aux zones où les enfants jouent dans les parcs. donc les avoir quand même éloignés des zones boisées. Aussi, dernièrement, avoir des panneaux de signalisation expliquant quoi faire en cas d'une morsure de tique. Donc, voilà, c'était pour les tiques. Pour ce qui est pour ce qui est de la rage, donc la recommandation principale, c'était des campagnes de vaccination à prix modique pour les animaux de compagnie. Somme toute, ici dans la région de Sherbrooke, on est assez à l'abri de la rage. Il y a très, très peu de cas. Quelques cas causés par des chauves-souris, mais c'est extrêmement rare. Ailleurs, dans les cantons de l'Est, il commence à y avoir un peu plus de cas causés par des ratons laveurs. Mais encore une fois, c'est assez loin de nous pour l'instant. Donc, il n'y a pas de quoi s'inquiéter pour le moment. Aussi, oui, c'est ça. Je voulais nommer, c'est ça, donc l'incendie qui avait eu lieu sur la rue Massawipi. Donc, malheureusement, on a des familles qui se retrouvent sans logis, donc ils vont avoir besoin de la communauté. Donc, on est là pour leur supporter. Je pense que tout le monde ici au Conseil appuie les démarches et puis on leur souhaite tous de retrouver un logement rapidement. Aussi, un immense merci. Oui, c'est ça, c'est vrai. On avait quelques 25 pompiers de Sherbrooke qui ont lutté donc dans cet incendie-là. Donc, merci pour leur professionnalisme, leur dévouement. Merci beaucoup. Ensuite, dernièrement, une note un peu plus positive. Donc, dernièrement, on va, en fait, cette fin de semaine, le 21 et le 20 et le 21, pardon. Non, le 21 et le 22, oui, juin. Nous aurons le festival de thé de Uplands, des Eastern Townships à Uplands. Donc, c'est une merveilleuse occasion, si vous ne l'avez pas déjà fait ou si vous voulez le refaire, de goûter au thé et à la célèbre tradition du thé à l'anglaise. Il y a Uplands, mais il y a aussi beaucoup de sites un peu partout à travers les cantons de l'Est qui sont concernés. Donc, plus d'infos sur le site Uplands. Voilà.
Thank you, Nancy. Yes, I would also like to thank everyone for Friendship Day. I can say that at LAMS, the Lennoxville Alaska Historical Museum Society, we started off with 17 cakes and there weren't very many pieces left by the end of the day. And it was nice to see so many families with young children around, because there were two big events in the day. There was Bishop's Convocation and there was a big wedding in town. But people seem to come from all over, not only for the activities at Friendship Day, but also for the library book sale. People came from far away for the library book sale. So that was another good attraction. I would also like to thank Matteo Chalpoin. I have to say, I went to listen to him talk April 29th at Champlain, and he's an inspirational student. I really like his just do it attitude. And I really enjoyed listening to him, and congratulations to him. Friendship Day was June 7th, but June 7th was another important day because it was Chimney Swift Day, or Swift Day, International Swift Day. In Canada, we have chimney swifts. And in Lennoxville, we have a devoted member of the St. Francis Valley Naturalist Club who's doing a census of the chimneys in town. So if anybody knows if they have swifts in their chimney, we have a list of some of the chimneys, but we're missing some. So if anyone knows of it, just they can contact me and I can put them in contact with Camille, who's doing the census for the chimney swifts, because they're an endangered species, just as bats. Bats have been decimated by white nose disease. Their population has gone down by over 90%. Getting back to No Mow May, I will say that in the States, there is a scientist named Doug Pelamy, and there's 44 million acres of lawn in the States. And his philosophy is if everybody left a little bit of their lawn to go natural, it would be much better for our pollinators, especially the monarchs. They're running out of food sources on their way up from Mexico. So I know it doesn't look that great, but it's really important for the wildlife to have different species around. And the flowers on milkweed are very nice and they smell good too. So, and there's lots of other species. And the definition of a weed is a plant growing in a place where you don't want it to. So not all indigenous species are bad. I'd like to congratulate Nicole Gash. She grew up around Lennoxville. She was honored by Excellence Sportive last week at Le Triolet because she went to the Olympics in 2018 in Korea she played hockey on the Swiss hockey team. Thanks to everyone who came to the Explore Lennox 5 à 7 a couple of weeks ago. It was nice to see so many business people and other organizations, and it's always nice to meet new people. Congratulations to the grads, the Champlain Bishops, and the high schools, which are finishing this week. It's an exciting time of year. And the last thing is, a lot of people have been asking me if I'm running in the next election. And my plan right now is, yes, I will run, and I think I'll run as president. If nothing bad happens before October, that's what my plan is now. So I've been people have been asking a lot lately, so I just wanted to set the record straight. So that's my plan. Merci à tout le monde pour la journée de l'amitié. C'était un autre succès. Pour la société d'histoire de Lennoxville. On a commencé avec 17 bateaux et il ne restait pas beaucoup de morceaux à la fin de la journée. Et c'était bon de voir tellement de familles avec les jeunes enfants.
Les cornets qu'on passe.
Ah oui, on a vendu tellement de cornets cette journée-là et il fallait retourner à Maxi pour chercher d'autres. Et les gens venaient de partout, pas juste pour les activités, mais pour la vente de livres de la bibliothèque aussi. Je pense que c'était une autre bonne boîte. J'ai
pas eu des résultats.
Non, mais il y avait moins de boîtes de transporter, donc c'est toujours bien parce que c'est du gros travail. Transporter toutes ces boîtes le matin à 8 heures et le transporter après à 2 heures. Félicitations à Nicole Gass, qui restait, comme sa famille reste près de Johnville. Nicole était honorée la semaine passée au Triolet parce qu'elle est allée aux Jeux olympiques en 2018. Elle a joué au hockey avec l'équipe de Suisse. Et merci à tout le monde qui sont venus au 5 à 7 à Auckland il y a 2 semaines. Il y avait des commerçants et les gens de quelques organismes aussi. C'est toujours bon de voir d'autres personnes qui ont un intérêt ici à Lennoxville. Félicitations à tous les gens qui complètent leurs études, comme au Collège Champlain, à l'Université Bishops et les écoles secondaires aussi qui finissent cette semaine. Concernant l'éthique, moi, j'ai eu une tique il y a 2 ans au marais Cardinal. C'était tôt le printemps. Il n'y avait pas beaucoup d'herbe, mais ce que j'ai appris à faire, c'est quand je sors, je fais certains de mes pantalons dans mes bas. Comme ça, les tiques ne peuvent pas aller sur mes jambes. Une autre chose à faire, c'est de porter les manches longues aussi. Et de vérifier après. J'étais chanceux, j'ai trouvé le tic c'était en 36 heures. Donc, il faut juste aller à la pharmacie et la pharmacienne m'a donné les antibiotiques, juste pour faire certaines. Donc, juste pour dire que c'est pas juste quand l'herbe est longue qu'il y a des tiques, on ne sait jamais. Pour les pelouses, il y a un mouvement aux États-Unis parce qu'il y a 44 millions d'acres de pelouses manicurées. Et il y a un scientifique qui s'appelle Doug Callamy qui propose que si tout le monde est juste un peu sauvage, ça peut aider les populations d'insectes comme les marmottes et d'autres insectes aussi, et les oiseaux aussi, parce que les oiseaux, Ça prend beaucoup de chenilles pour nourrir des petits. Et la dernière chose, il y a beaucoup de monde qui me demande si je vais me présenter à l'automne. Et oui, j'ai l'intention de me présenter comme présidente de l'arrondissement de Lennoxville. J'adore demeurer ici à Lennoxville. Je travaille ici et comme c'est un honneur pour moi de travailler pour les citoyens du coin ici. Donc, c'est tout pour moi. Merci.
Merci.
C'est plus long que normal.
Yeah, well, you talk about ticks. I could talk about ticks, but it's my dog. Anyway, OK. J'aime bien votre commentaire que tu as fait par rapport à la coupe des gazons, qu'on n'est pas obligé de tout couper. On peut garder une portion parce que je regarde les extrêmes, c'est qu'il y en a qui laissent tout pousser, qui peut toucher à rien. Mais ils pourraient me couper à moitié ou faire une part, et les autres, ils n'en coupent pas. Ils pourraient laisser un petit coin. Donc, j'ai bien aimé ce commentaire-là parce que j'y avais pas pensé. So I really like your comment about leaving a portion of the lawn unmowed, and it could be a compromise for those who let it all grow, cut, and then compromise for those who don't let it grow, just leave a patch of it. And that's usually what I do when I cut my lawn. I leave a nice circle in the middle there. And the flowers go there. And it's a good comment. Concernant la bibliothèque au Friendship Day, j'ai fait beaucoup de musculation, j'ai transporté des livres. Ce que j'ai remarqué, c'est que au début, il y en a de la boîte. Hein. Puis on est chanceux, on a des jeunes qui viennent nous aider, ça fait que ça va super bien. So I did help the library to carry boxes, and it's nice to start the day, and there's kids helping us, so we make a chain and transport the boxes. But then, when it's going back, that's where it becomes a challenge. So I go there, and you look, it's all graced up like this, that we're doing the final job is bringing the boxes back. So that was a bit of a challenge, but I think you have to participate and help. We had our cleanup day this weekend, Saturday morning. Notre grand nettoyage, c'était samedi. Donc, on a une coopération maintenant avec l'Action Saint-François. C'est la deuxième année qu'on fait ça avec l'Action Saint-François. Puis, il faut dire que le projet il a évolué beaucoup. Il faut penser que là, 3, 4, 5, 6 ans, 10 ans, quand on faisait ça, ça fait longtemps qu'on fait ça. Mais c'était axé sur le fait qu'on avait des problèmes avec les étudiants qui déménageaient à une période qui laissait tous les meubles, puis notre pick-up notre ramassage à la ligne, il était défectueux par rapport à ça, parce que les dates ne correspondaient pas, parce que notre pick-up, c'était pour le 1er juillet. Donc, autrement dit, les meubles demeuraient pendant un bon bout de temps, puis on avait des problèmes d'incendie, on pourrait dire. So just to mention that it was cleanup day this weekend and Saturday morning. And just a little history is that that was really a venture that we did with Bishop together. We had a lot of couch fires and mattress fires because this stuff was just lying there for so long. And so we sort of did a joint venture with Bishop's University and had a big cleanup day. And they participated, and we had trailers and stuff, and they supplied a container at Bishop's, and we used to bring that there. But my point is now that we have changed our pickup procedure at the city of Sherbrooke. So if you go on the website now, you can have your large garbage pickup, not just for the 1st of July, but at any time in this period of time of movement of déménagement. Donc, c'est juste pour dire que là, on a changé de procédure parce qu'on n'a plus les mêmes problèmes, parce que la ville a changé la procédure pour des encombrants. Puis, on appelle ça des résidus encombrants. Donc, on a une collecte qui est sur une période de temps. Donc, vous pouvez aller en ligne, enregistrer votre collecte. OK, vous allez en ligne, vous pouvez appeler 821-5858 aussi, c'est l'assistance. Puis, ils vont aller chercher vos rebuts, vos gros rebuts, votre divan ou vos matelas. Par contre, il y a des restrictions, des télévisions, micro-ondes, ça va au centre de thé. Au centre. C'est ça. Donc, il y a des exceptions, mais quand même, c'est qu'on a résolu le problème vraiment en faisant ça dans une plus longue période. Donc, j'invite les citoyens à utiliser le service même. So our large items, our new method is on a longer period, so you can go on the website and if you type visit from book, large item, garbage, you will find this site and you'll be able to register your pickup. So anytime you have something, well, not in time, it's during this transition period where people move a lot. So you can actually record your large item on that. And of course, there are a few restrictions, like there's no television or microwaves or stuff like that. They go at the Eco Center. So, but I welcome you to use that. And also, for the same thing, you can also call 1-5858 for assistance on that. Donc, moi, j'ai terminé. Donc, on va retourner à notre agenda. Je pense qu'on est rendu au dernier item qui est la levée de l'Assemblée. So, we're at the end, and it's adjournment. So, par contre, je veux remercier la présence de nos citoyens parce que c'est bien apprécié, parce qu'on peut partager des informations puis on peut vraiment s'entraider. So, thank you for your presence. Merci beaucoup.